Hello there, and thank you for buying the Caseload Manager for Speech Therapy. This is the tutorial to help you get started. If you have any questions at any time, please email me at this address, and I'll be happy to help you as best I can. The general section here that I have under instructions has a detailed instructions for each of the sheets. This is just general for how to save it and make sure that you have always keep a new fresh one so that you can have a new one every year or a new one for a new setting if you need to. There's a tutorial and a section here for each sheet. Master list, which is down here, then your schedule, your daily tracker, detailed instructions on how to set it up and how it works, your kindergarten screenings, all the kids you've dismissed, your annual report, a billing sheet, and the sugar, which is a way to quickly analyze a language sample. Also, please just notice that there's some housekeeping here and about the copyright. And let's go right to the master list. So this master list is where you're going to put the name of each and every one of your students. So let's say I have a student with initials IN and she was born in 12. That's the rubric that I'm going to use. So her birthday was 4/15/12. And you can see as soon as I put the date of birth in that chronological age will calculate. Then she's a kinder. She's kind of a young kinder. She is let's say she's a speech language impairment. Her last eval date was 2/4/15. I just punched that in and it automatically calculates the next speech eval in 3 years. This I use a lot because I need to just visually scan, okay, in the next couple of months do I have any coming up, and I use that one a lot. Okay, so she's going to be an articulation kid, so she's going to get 30 minutes or 60 minutes a week, let's say, and she is not Medicaid billed. So you're going to do this with each and every one of your kids. It takes a little time in the beginning, but once it's done, and year after year, a lot of the kids are the same, so it gets easier. The first time it takes a little bit of time. So once you have that in there for all your kids, and don't worry about it where it says value, it's just that when I checked all those cells, that was left over. As soon as you put something in this date of birth, that will go away and the calculation will be there. The same thing with all of these. So, and you'll see at the end that you will have a total of how many kids were in each eligibility category. And you see here she popped up there. And she popped up as a kinder. You'll have a listing of all the kindergartners and how many are on Medicaid. She was a no, so that remained a 0. Okay, so that's your master list. And this master list here that you make, you'll eventually want to copy and paste into your daily tracker, and I'll show you that in a minute. So then your schedule, this is just a simple schedule. Here I have merged 2 cells to make a half-an-hour treatment because these are 15-minute increments, but you can make them half hour, 45 minutes, or an hour. Merge the cells, put the kids in where you want them, change them as the year goes on. So that's very, very simple. That is your schedule, which also can be printed out onto one sheet. So then let's go down here now to the daily tracker, which is really the workhorse of this whole database. So what you're going to do is, let's say that if you work in the schools 5 days a week, this is going to be week 1 all the way to this black line. That's 5 days. Okay, I work in the schools 1 day a week, so I changed this to month 1, and I actually put October or November or whatever month it is. So you can change this to whatever you want. You can leave it like that. At any rate, you decide, okay, today's this day. I came in on the 8th, which was a Monday. I came in at 7:45. I saw just one student that day. I saw him for individual for 30. And then I left at 1 p.m. And then if I put my in and my out, then it calculates 5 hours and 15 minutes. And then the next day I came in, drop down menu, there's the 9th, I came in at 11 at that school, and I left at, let's see, I left at 12. Let's say I left at 1. And for Joe, I had a 60-minute EA&R meeting. So this one column here gives me lots and lots of options. So if you didn't see them for any kind of therapy, either group or individual, then these are all of your other options. And so for him, I had him EA&R. So then I would do this for each day. And each day is color. I separated them out by color so you don't get them mixed up. White, yellow, white, yellow. And then you're going to come, notice at the end of the week, Joe B had 90 minutes of service, 30 minutes of therapy, and 60 minutes of that EA&R. So each week is going to be totaled. And then you're going to do that all through the year for each of your students. It's a great way to keep track of how much therapy they're getting and what kind of situation was happening if they missed therapy. How many EA&Rs, how many hearing screenings, whatever you'd like to put in there, you can put in there. So now we're going all the way to the end, and this is a yearly summary that this is all going to be added up to. So this yearly summary is going to tell you, okay, so Joe B, if this was, of course, this would be a much bigger number if it was a whole, because it will be the whole year, but since we only had one input there, then we just have him for 1 half hour. He had the other option, which was an EA&R, and here it tells you there was one of those, not 1 hour, but one of those. This is 1 hour, and that's delineated here. If I had evaluated him, screened him, screened his hearing, observed him in the classroom, had all these other options that were the drop-down menus, they would have calculated there. And then at the end, you can see, okay, I did this many evaluations, I did this many EA&Rs, I did this many screenings, and so on. And then that will feed into the annual report, which is coming in a minute. So that is the page that I have open all the time. And the next page that I use quite a bit in the beginning of the year is the kindergarten screenings. So let's say I had Janny. Her date of birth was the 11th, which calculated her, was in 2011, which calculated her birth at 5 years, 7 months. Let's say I used the Flu-Hardy. Then when she didn't really pass but didn't really fail, or passed it but it was iffy, I would go ahead and put monitor. But if she had passed, I'd put pass. Now if you want to, you can actually change this to whatever, make a drop-down menu if you're handy that way to whatever screenings that you have. Otherwise you can just type it in there. And then the date has a drop-down menu so that you can say what was the date that you screened her. Now, you're going to put all your screenings in there. The totals will come down here at the bottom. They will also feed into the annual report. So you can see that she passed, and our total was 1 screening. So then we go to the dismissed page. This is where you take care of the kids that you dismissed. Here you have John. He was a 3rd grader. He could have been anything. These are your options. And speech language was his eligibility category. He was an Artic kid. He was dismissed with his goals met, and his date of dismissal was the 10th, and then you can write some notes here that if you want to. This will also be totaled at the bottom, so that at the end of the year you'll know how many kids you've dismissed and whether they moved, they graduated with goals met, or whatever the case may be. So the annual report is, there's very few things that you have to actually do. You do need to put your name. If you want to put a school or any other setting, you can change that definitely. And if you want to put what kind of position status you are, those are your options there. All of these numbers, with the exception of these two, will automatically calculate, so you don't have to do anything. At the end of the year, this report will be almost done for you. You don't have to do anything but do these two numbers, sign it and print it and give it to your administrator. You'll look so organized because you are. All of these two will calculate based on that master list that you gave it. You can make a few notes if you want to. Sign your names, put a signature, either do it yourself manually, or what I do is I have a picture of my signature and I put it in right here. And this will print on one page and look really, really organized. So then the next thing you have is your billing. This is very open because everybody bills differently, different prices, different tax structures, and so it's very flexible. All your identifying information can be here. The dates, these are drop-down menus. So let's say on the 9th I did therapy for 4 hours, and then I would have to put my total here individually. You could put your location here, you could put whatever you want here, or you could put nothing. And let's say on the 9th I had one evaluation, and I happen to do my evaluation separately than therapy, and so I would put the price of that evaluation there. And this is what I normally do, is put the initials of the evaluated student so that they can keep that straight in the billing department. This will subtotal all of these, anything that you've put in here. You can put your tax rate in here and calculate it, and then if you put these two boxes with numbers, it will calculate it automatically right here. Then you can copy and paste this and put it into a Word doc and bill it for your billing, and send it by email to your district or whoever it is that pays your bills. Then the final one is the sugar, which is a way to analyze a language sample. This is the website that gives very detailed information on how to get information on collecting and analyzing this data. It's very simple to do if you type it into a Word document because it counts words for you, and this is the website that you want to go to give you the information on how to do that. So once you get that information, it's going to tell you that information on that website tells you how to count the number of words and calculate the MLU. But all you have to do is count the words, put that number in there, record the number of utterances, count the morphemes, and then it will calculate your MLU for you. And these are the steps that you need to take according to that system that's I've cited down there. And if you put each of these numbers in, it will calculate for you. It's really not that hard. Once you do it one time, you'll understand it. And then each of these, this value and this value and these two values, will automatically go here, and then you can decide, okay, for my 4-year, 5-month-old kid, this number here, does it fall near the mean, 1 standard deviation below the mean, or how many standard deviations below the mean did he or she fall? So that's just kind of a handy little thing that has nothing to do with data tracking, but I use it all the time. And so then you can put the student identifying information in here too, so you can print this out and include it with an evaluation. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much. Again, go to the instructions, read through them, play around with it. If you have any questions, please give me an email at this address, and I'd be happy to help you. Thank you.